All right. So, I was asked by a subscriber or someone that had viewed my paranormal experiences video to share the incidents that have happened on my land. Now, I went over one in the video about the family that was killed here on our property years and years ago. That happened back in the 1920s. But this one was one other I found in my research, and it happened 1931, 32, somewhere like that. But there was apparently a man that lived on this land back then. And he was out one day trimming his hedges with hedge clippers, the shears that you use. And the cops were called out and they found him with his throat slashed. And apparently, they tried to label it as a suicide. But upon further investigation, the police stated in the angle that he was laying and the location of the hedge clippers when they found the body, there's no there's no possible way he could have done it himself. And back then, there were no houses around this area, and it was mud. And the only other footprints that they could find that the cops found were their own footprints walking up to the area where he was found in. There were no other footprints, which indicates that there was no foul play. He wasn't murdered by somebody. And to this day, that murder or that death has never been solved. They've never figured out what it was. So I'm thinking maybe he could be also one of the spirits that is here. One of the restless spirits that can't find its way back to the light. And there's one thing I want to talk about that concerns paranormal experience or wanting to delve into the paranormal world, what to stay away from. One thing is Ouija boards. Do not do it if you don't know what you're doing. Because you could be playing with one and ask a question about a family member. Try to communicate with a past family member, and something will respond to you, but it may not be that family member. It could be something pretending to be that family member. And when you contact a spirit with a Ouija board, you open a portal, and anything can come through that portal because it feels it's invited because you tried to contact it. And evil spirits, demons, will come through and they don't go back because you want them to. You can't make them leave. You really gotta know what you're doing with that because you could bring something through and never get rid of it. So just think about that if you're thinking of, oh, Ouija board might be cool. Be very, very, very cautious of that. It's not a game. It can cause harm to you. Demons can hurt you. They can physically hurt you. Spirits, not so much, unless they're an angry spirit. But demons can hurt you. So please, guys, if you're thinking about messing with a Ouija board, please be careful and really make sure you know what you're doing when you do that. So I just wanted to throw that into the video here, just as a little guidance. I've never done it. I've never messed with a Ouija board. I don't ever plan to. I mean, it seems like it could be cool, and it could be, but you don't ever know what you're conversing with. And demons are dangerous entities. They can come to you and never leave. So just keep that in mind. So to recap the incident again, a man was found dead with his throat slashed or cut with those shears that he was using to cut his hedges. And they've never solved that. The cops said there is no way it could have been suicide. But there's no evidence either to support foul play. Like he was murdered by somebody. They've never figured out what it was. Kind of creepy. And one other interesting thing I found. My cousin had told me about this site. And for the life of me, I can't remember what this site was called. Because I did this research years back. Like years back. 2015, 14, somewhere like that. And I've never been able to find it. My cousin found it one time, and he said all that information has been deleted from that site. Kind of strange. But I'll do the next one. And, well, I could do it here. Let's see. There's one other one. So this will be both of them. These are the ones that I found. There was a lady that lived in a house right across the creek from me. Which, my backyard, if you're in my room right now, what's behind my head, that is the main road that goes up through my subdivision. To the left, or this way, to the left of me is my backyard where my dog stays. And we have a creek down there. Beyond that creek is an old house. And it used to be inhabited. We've had a couple neighbors, but it hasn't been rented out in a long time. But back sometime in the 80s, maybe early 90s, there was a woman that lived there, and two men came in and murdered her. They murdered her, and she's buried somewhere on our property. We don't know where, but she's buried somewhere on our property. And that information came from a friend of my mom's that worked with her at her old job. And she knew the person that did it. And she's the one that told my mom about it. But yeah, and that night that me and my friend were doing the EVP sessions, the second night we did it, I asked a question to the lady. Like, are you here? Are you the one that was murdered here? And I heard out in my woods a blood-curdling scream. I heard it, and my buddy heard it. And we were both like, what the fuck was that? Holy Jesus, And then after we got that voice on there that we heard, that's what cued me to tell him, okay, we need to stop. We're going too far. That's another thing about EVP sessions I want to include. When you are asking questions in the EVP, please be careful about what you ask. Because there are some things you can ask, and if there's an angry spirit and they don't want to answer, they're not going to, and they can get really pissed. So anytime you're doing anything with the paranormal, respect it. Respect it. Be careful. Think carefully about how you're going to go about your investigation, and don't do anything that you feel inside that could put you in danger, because trust me, the paranormal world can put you in danger. So there's the incidents and my thoughts on the Ouija board and dabbling in the paranormal world. Just be careful with it. It is a very delicate thing, and you got to treat it with respect. If you show it disrespect, it will show you disrespect. So, everyone, have a good night. And to the person that asked me to share these incidents that happened here, I hope you enjoy it and you get a little more information about it. And thanks for everyone that's watched. And to my subscribers, which I got one more, 11. Pretty cool. I appreciate everybody. Have a great night.